Good evening, everybody. We're going to take a look at your government. Now, there's a board meeting coming up Monday, and they're going to review a student handbook, coach's handbook, really. So your athletes and coaches have to abide by what's in this coach's handbook. Your government wrote it. There are new requirements for your students to follow. So therefore, prior to losing your freedoms, or prior to losing your liberties, or prior to being told a new law or new responsibility, the way that the world works in America is that you have a right to talk to your government first. You have the right to oversee what they are doing. You're the stakeholder. They work for you. They are public servants. So let's watch them in action. Please don't get too disappointed. But they're good people. They mean well. They're just horrible politicians that don't recognize the responsibility to let the people get involved. One of our school policies is to seek stakeholder input. So let's go here first, and we're going to take a look at what an official action is. An official action of a government agency is a recommendation by the agency. So anybody that recommends to the agency within a public meeting as part of the agency, required to be a part of the Sunshine Act. So let's back up. What is the agency? So the definition of agency, right here, the body and all its committees thereof. So if you have a committee meeting, they have to follow the Sunshine Act. And prior to a recommendation, prior to an official action, they have to seek stakeholder input. Requirement, school code. Requirement, Sunshine Act. Requirement, school policy, right? So let's take a look at what they actually have to do. And according to this Sunshine Act, they have to, shall provide. They have to provide this opportunity, right? And it's a reasonable opportunity, right? Let me just look at it for a second. I'll do it even easier, reasonable. There it is. Has to provide, shall provide a reasonable opportunity, right? To comment on matters of concern, official action, or deliberation. This is the violation that our district does regularly. This is why they have committee meetings that recommend things to the board and fail to provide public comment prior. If you're going to adopt a handbook, you better read it first, you would think. Let's take a look at this and you'll see what I'm talking about. But thanks for bearing with me. Let's put this up for a second. Before we even do that, recognize that when the district hands out their handbook, this is what they give you. Right? A couple pages, PDF. If you look on the word Lehighton, it says, can't find it. If I look on the word supervise, it says you can't find it. Right? It's 2020, people. It's so simple. If I take that same document that the district gave me, run it through some optical character recognition, practically free software, it'll let me find things inside the document, making my time, energy, and effort easier. So let's take a look at this. If I go over to my version of the same exact document, and I look under the word supervise, I say right here, players must be supervised at all times when under the coach's jurisdiction. This includes the locker room and on the bus, as well as the field of play. If I want to look up the word lock to see who's opening things up. How are these kids getting access to buildings without supervision, as in the past? Athletes must maintain clean locker rooms, right? That's not the one. Here we go. Players must be supervised at all times under the coach's jurisdiction, right? Locker room. It shall be the duty of the coach or designee to open the buildings. How did these kids get inside of a building unsupervised? But let's take a look and see what's going on with our happy elected public officials. Here we go.
Appreciate that.
Coach Handbook was sent to the athletic committee members to review on February 11th.
So they've already had it for weeks, right? And someone had to write it. You would think they might have read it. Let's find out.
Send that to the school board for review that approval, which will be included in the enclosure of the attachments for the school committee. Any questions or?
Now here we go. This is our illustrious committee chairperson. Here's another board member.
Hold on 1 second. They're not going to make any comment.
No comment. None. A handbook. Hazing. Students injured. Criminal charges. Nothing.
All about the handbook. You're recommending it as it is or not? I'm asking because it's important. It's a requirement. It's part of the Sunshine Act to be able to do these things. We got to run these meetings professionally there, Wayne. So, Wayne, no questions on this handbook? Steve, any questions on this handbook? Can I ask a question on the handbook? Can I? Thank you. Appreciate the floor. So, I was looking at it, I just received it, but I'm looking for where middle school students should not be left alone.
And here's the sad part. As a board of director of this district, this is the first I'm seeing of it. This was back months ago when they first had an athletic committee member recommend this handbook to the board for approval. This is where they were at.
Or unattended, or unsupervised. Is that in this handbook anywhere?
This handbook is for coaches and coaching responsibilities.
So do they have a responsibility, anywhere in this handbook, do they have a responsibility to make sure that all the students participating in sports are being supervised while part of the sports program?
They have, in here are rules and regulations that are listed here. So for example, duties and responsibilities, obviously there's duties and responsibilities, head coach, and it's broken down into how they are in charge of situations, holding buildings, responsible for carrying out different measures.
Yeah, but no, I don't, again, I'm at a loss. We had a major hazing incident occurring within our middle school. And there's nothing on the duties and responsibilities to help us try to prevent these. We're not making any modifications or changes to our policies or procedures or handbooks related to protecting these students.
I'm not going to comment on that at this point.
Right. It's them. They're the committee.
By the committee and it's reviewed by the school.
Correct.
No comment to your question.
I'm not specifically asking you. You've been put in a position where Wayne's the chairman. He handed you the responsibility. Really, he's the board member. He's my elected official. He's the person that I'm seeking to provide my input. Shouldn't we do that, Wayne? I mean, we had a major hazing incident, middle school. Criminal charges, problems, unsupervised students. Shouldn't we do something in the handbook to make sure that when you open a building?
I wonder at this point how many parents, students, athletes, lawyers looked at this thing. Here's your committee chairman.
Prior that someone has some supervision, especially when you look at the demographics of the violations of policies, that the highest propensity to a policy violation would be the age group of middle school, almost to the highest end of the bell curve. Wayne? Excuse me, Wayne, you're the chairman. I'm asking the chairman of this. Oh, wait a second, wait, you're not going to answer anything? You're not going to add anything into this policy or handbook? We're not going to protect the students. Wayne.
Any individual stakeholder would have applied more effort. They would have been a hero. Just read it. Read it. Killing me. One at a time. Killing me slowly.
And there's no further comment on the meeting?
No further comment. We're going to end the meeting. Students injured. Hazing. National news. 9:20. This is funny. And then I'm going to end this video. Steve Holland, board of director, asked the subordinate person that they abdicated the authority to run this meeting whether he can ask something. Let's try that again. One more time. Because here she says she wants to end the meeting, right? I'm going to end the meeting. So you got this host ending a meeting. No public comment, no opportunity to speak. And then the director has to say, wait a second. Hold on. He's talking about extra basketball games. We have injured students. Protect the students, Steve. Steve, protect the students. Come on. Simple. First rule. Come on. Protect the students. Second rule, save the community. All right, folks. That's where you have it. Your government in action.